Fucking Chevy Spark.
It was a Chevy Spark, baby.
Enjoy that go-kart, motherfucker.
Hey, I love my go-kart. My paid-off go-kart.
I never paid mine off. It died before I had a chance to pay mine off. That was when I was working Lyft, and I got on the freeway and put my foot on the gas pedal, and nothing happened.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, in a tiny car with passengers. Luckily, it kicked in right when I got onto the freeway proper, and I was getting off on the next exit, and I quit for the day after that and took it into the shop, and then sold it like a month later.
I didn't realize that was that early. Did you already have the...
Oh, no, that didn't happen yet. I forgot about that part.
I was going to say, did you already have the... Do you have a Corolla or a Camry? I can never remember which.
I have a Corolla.
Ah.
You made me second guess myself. That was pre-Yaris.
Yeah. Wait, you have a Yaris now?
No, I have a Corolla now.
What?
The Yaris was between the Spark and the Corolla.
I do not recall this at all.
The white car?
Your Aveo was white.
That was silver.
Oh my god, it's basically the same.
White?
Which is the car that singed my legs really bad when we went to Vegas, because you had leather seats.
Probably both of those cars. Because it wasn't until the Corolla that you were like, thank God, these seats won't burn my legs in the hot sun. And then I never take you anywhere.
You take me everywhere. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but we take the metro.
That's true. We're taking the bus tomorrow.
Ooh, we are taking the bus.
Yeah. We have nowhere to segue. I'm not...
I'm digging deep. I'm trying so hard to find a way to start off this brand new episode of soon to be a Major Motion podcast. The podcast where we watch movies that are based on books and read books that were turned into movies. I am Billy Beck.
I am Cody Beck.
Cody, how have you been since we last talked about Lord of the Flies?
I have been good. I don't really think anything new or exciting has happened. I bought a new video game.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Have you played it yet?
I've not.
Cool. Can't wait to hear about that next time.
I am excited about it, though, because there's a new competitor. There's an actual competitor to The Sims that has come out.
Competitive Sims. Wait. That's not right.
Other than that, my birthday is coming up as we record. So we're going to go out to a tiki bar. That'll be exciting.
We could talk all about that on the next episode.
Yeah. See, listen, all moments that have ever happened have already happened and will continue to happen. How are you?
Fine. Same story, different day. Same shit, different sandwich. No, I watched a good movie last night.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it's weird. It's about this guy who becomes unstuck in time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Would you believe me if I said I read a book that has the same thing happen to the protagonist?
You know what? I actually would believe you because I described the conceit of the podcast already.
You sure did.
What book was that, Cody?
You
were read.
I read Slaughterhouse-Five by Kurt Vonnegut.
Slaughterhouse-Five.
Schlachthaus-Fünf.
Fünf.
Listen, don't make fun of my pronunciation.
No, I'm making fun of German.
Don't do that either. That ends poorly.
What are they gonna do? Nazi about it? That's not allowed there anymore. Come on. No, we're the Nazis now.
Would you believe it or not? Vonnegut was afraid of that.
I would believe it. In fact, it's kind of a point of the story. But before we get into that any deeper, did you read this before we started talking about it?
Yes, I actually did. I read it post high school. I think I read it a couple years ago, like 10 years ago now at this point. While we were living in this apartment, I was nannying and I was going through a bunch of classic literature that I hadn't yet read that I thought I should have. I'd read Cat's Cradle in high school and kind of hated it. And I was like, let's give Vonnegut another try, another go around. And so I picked up Slaughterhouse-Five and Liked it better than Cat's Cradle.
It's a better novel.
Yeah. It's less bleak?
Yeah, and a semi-autobiographical account of the firebombing of Dresden is less bleak than... Cat's Cradle's the one with Ice 9, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because the universe still exists. You know how it's gonna end, but it's still there.
Yeah. What about you? Have you read or seen this before?
Well, we're doing this now as the tail end of our I didn't understand this in high school series. Mm-hmm. Because I know someone did a project on it in high school. No idea why or what they gleaned from it then, except maybe, I don't know, it's just a general literary analysis, I guess.
War is bad.
Yeah, right. Trauma. Trauma is cyclical.
All media is about grief.
That said, I did actually read this. I want to say it was like 2016, 2017.
You read through all of Vonnegut.
I read
right?
all of Vonnegut, yeah. Because Alex Schmidt did his Kurt Vonnegut's podcast with, was it Tom Ryman or Michael Swaim? It was one of those ex-cracked guys. But they read through the entire work, it was probably Swaim, the entire work of Kurt Vonnegut, like from earliest to latest. So I read along with them because I'd never read Vonnegut, and what a great writer. What an interesting view of the world, influenced by his own life events, which he writes about a lot in his nonfiction as well. But yeah, Slaughterhouse-Five being probably his most memorable.
Yeah, there were a lot of people. I read a handful of some actually relatively contemporary criticism, and a lot of people considered it his best novel. They kind of thought that his other stuff was shit.
His other stuff isn't bad. This is probably his best written and most engaging cover to cover. Uh-huh. But I remember there being some really fun ideas. Fun is a loaded term in this sense, considering the kind of author he is. But in stuff like Breakfast of Champions and Cat's Cradle, Sirens of Titan. Was it God Bless You, Mr. Rosewater? Is that the one with the Nazi? Who the one with there's a Nazi spokesperson who's actually a spy, but no one knows he was a spy, so he just
Elliot I was gonna say Elliot Rosewater is in Slaughterhouse-Five.
He is, yeah.
But I don't know if it's the same character, because Vonnegut would absolutely. He would.
It was, yeah, because like Kilgore Trout appears in a bunch of shit too.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, it was Mother Night, which is Howard Campbell Jr. is the character who appears in the film.
Yes.
I'm not sure if he appears in the novel as well.
He does.
Okay, he does. Yes. So yeah, then I'm glad I looked it up, because I liked Mother Night a lot as well. Because it asks the question of, like, even if everything you're doing in the end is for good, if no one perceives it that way, how much harm did you do in order to do that good? Something.
It's also interesting that you're watching Andor right now.
Yeah. Which, I mean, yeah. But, anyway. So when was this published? Do you know off the top of your head?
I do not, but conveniently, this has a timeline in it. Welcome to the Monkey House of 68. That was the first thing I ever read of his, was one of the short stories.
Oh yeah, his short story collections were always really interesting, because he didn't have to, like, fill anything out. He just got his cool idea on paper.
I read the one about birth control, where a guy is kidnapping and raping women to protest the lack of birth control.
It was 69, by the way.
Yes, that was the next thing.
Yeah, I still had the tab open. So he published that in 69, yes. And only 3 years later, they made a movie out of it.
They sure did.
Do you want to watch a trailer for that movie?
I'm fascinated to see what this trailer is going to look like.
Then let's watch a trailer.
Schlachthof 5. This is Schlachthof 5. 5 is English 5. Schlacht is slaughter. Hof is house. Schlachthof 5. Slaughterhouse-Five. Your house.
When do you want it, huh? When do you want it, Pilgrim? You'll never know when it's gonna happen. Maybe years, maybe not. Son. This pork chop killed a friend of mine.
I didn't. I just
Man
bumped
is
into
sick. Yeah? Well, he's gonna be dead.
Billy! Billy, Mama's here. The war's over. You can come out now.
The patient was a prisoner of war in Dresden when it was bombed. He claims that well over 100,000 people were burned to death in the fire, worse than Hiroshima. And since Billy was actually there, it's natural enough to assume that this has had a contributing effect on his present condition.
He's ready, Doctor.
You're going to sleep now, Billy.
Welcome to the planet Tralfamadore, Mr. Pilgrim.
Happy birthday,
And don't give up dreaming, for true love will come smiling through.
See, in Tralfamadore, where I presently dwell, life has no beginning, no middle, and no end. For example, many years ago, a certain man promised to have me killed. He's an old man now, living not far from here. He's read all the publicity associated with my appearance. He's insane. Tonight he'll keep his promise.
All right. So I'm not sure how to get into this other than by, I guess, telling the story of Billy Pilgrim chronologically?
Pull a Memento chronological edit.
Like the reverse Memento this. So Billy Pilgrim grew up in Ilium. Is it Ohio? Indiana? It's probably Indiana, knowing Vonnegut.
Probably.
His dad was mildly abusive, as most fathers were in the fucking 30s, 20s and 30s.
Can I...
Yeah, please do. That's the whole point of a podcast.
I just wanted to interrupt and say, do you understand the importance or the significance of it being called Ilium?
No, we'll get into that after we break down the themes, or when we get to the themes.
Okay.
So he's got a mildly abusive father and a doting mother. He's a bit of a mama's boy. He goes to optometry school, where he meets his future father-in-law, who owns the school, and the man's daughter, who is pretty hopeless. And then the war breaks out, and he gets drafted. He didn't volunteer because he wanted to finish optometry school. Mm-hmm. He goes and fights in the war as a junior assistant chaplain. Yes.
Yes.
And is captured. Ow, Toby, that's my toe. He's captured alongside Paul Lozado, who is a fucking psychopath. Ends up in a POW camp, meets Edgar Derby, who is his mentor and best friend. And they get transferred to Dresden, where they stay at the titular Slaughterhouse-Five. I don't recall what they do in Dresden. It's just odd jobs, or are they...
Yeah, they're there for about 60 to 70 days, and they're basically just contract slave labor.
Yeah, and they are there... eating dinner one night. I think it's February 13th, 1945?
That sounds right.
Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, nerds. And on that fateful night during dinner, the air raid siren goes off, so they go down into the bunker. And when they emerge the next morning, Dresden has been bombed and 100,000 people are dead. This is a real thing that the U.S. did in World War II. It has a higher death toll than the nuclear bomb.
130,000.
130,000, thank you. Both numbers.
And it was the 13th into the 14th.
Both numbers were mentioned on in the film by different people.
Yeah.
I believe it's still considered a higher immediate death toll than the nuclear bombs. The nuclear bombs had more consequences.
Fallout?
Yeah, that would be the word for it.
No pun intended.
And this is also in an innocent city and not even a military base. They just bombed a fucking city.
Yes.
So he survives this while they're helping, while they're conscribed by the German army to clean up the rubble. Edgar sees a figurine that matches one he used to have from Dresden that got broken by his son and pockets it. And moments later, he is executed via firing squad by the Nazis. And then the US, or the Allies, win the war. Russians roll into Dresden, kind of help him out. I think they just give him vodka while he's pinned under a grandfather clock, actually.
Yeah, that's not covered in the book.
I don't think it is. I don't remember it either. And then he goes back home. He's suffering from some PTSD. But he's got his Val, and they get married. And they have 2 beautiful children, Barbara and Robert. I think Robert's older.
Yes.
And he becomes an optometrist, and he earns the respect of his father-in-law, and he's president of the Lions Club. And they're going to the big optometrist conference in Montreal on a private chartered plane. And then the movie Final Destination happens, very briefly in the middle here. Where he sees images of skiers on the tarmac as they're leaving, and he goes, this plane is going to crash. So he doesn't drink and party, and he stays in his seat. When the plane goes down, he is the only survivor. And they rush him to the hospital, and they have to do surgery on his brain to help Billy Pilgrim out. And in panic, his wife Val, in her new Cadillac, gets into multiple car accidents on the way to a hospital in Vermont, where she then subsequently dies of carbon monoxide poisoning, because the hospital in Vermont, or the car accidents on the way, wrecked her exhaust, and she was breathing in on those fumes. And my favorite line of the film is, she died of carbon monoxide poisoning, but she drives a Cadillac. So they take Billy home. He opts to live alone with his old dog, Spot, and neglects his daughter's wishes to move in with them, sees his son, who was a bit of a troublemaker as a kid, become a man, don a military uniform himself to go fight in Vietnam, gotta end communism. And then he becomes unstuck in time because the aliens from Tralfamador. Thank you. If I don't see it written in front of me, the aliens from Tralfamador make themselves known. They bring him to their Tralfamadorian zoo, where he lives with his new wife, Montana Wildhack, an actress, where they mate for the aliens and have babies. But he also learns that he can just view his life from any point in time, kind of like he just learned the language from Arrival. And, does, I guess. And then he goes to speak in a conference about Tralfamador, and then Paul Lozado, remember him? Yeah, he's in the crowd and he shoots him dead. The end of his life. But of course, because he knows the language from Arrival, the story is told jumping throughout time. So it bounces back and forth between his time at the war, his family life, his time on his time on the alien planet, his childhood, back and forth, back and forth.
Yes.
And that's basically the plot of Slaughterhouse-Five?
Yeah. The only major difference from book to movie is Kurt Vonnegut himself is a character.
Yeah.
He opens and closes the book in basically chapters that are from his point of view as the author writing the book. In a very Tralfamadorian way. He talks about how he knew... In the end of the first chapter, he says, the first sentence is Billy Pilgrim has become unstuck in time, and the last sentence is Potuit, which is the bird sounds.
Oh. I know he ends a lot of sentences with, and so it goes.
Yes, anytime he's describing a death, or I would say a senseless act of slaughter, or sudden death, he as the author follows it up with and so it goes. I actually didn't read this book. I listened to it because you lied and we don't have a copy of it.
I could have sworn there's a copy on the fucking shelf.
There is not a copy on the shelf.
I've got fucking Welcome to the Monkey House, Cat's Cradle, God Bless You, Mr. Rosewater, Player Piano, Timequake. Is that a slapstick next to it?
Yeah, no fucking Slaughterhouse-Five.
No shit.
So I actually listened to the James Franco audiobook.
What?
Yeah, James Franco read this audiobook.
Oh, God.
It was fine because he wasn't being James Franco about it.
Yeah, because he had to be Kurt Vonnegut about it. James Franco as he is an okay actor. You know, like he's good at his craft.
I still think Dave Franco would have done better.
Dave Franco would have done better at everything.
But yeah, so I actually kind of preferred hearing this one because I have read it before. So listening to the audiobook, which is only 5.5 hours.
Yeah, it's not a long read at all.
No, it's very good, and it's definitely, knowing what I know and having read a little bit here and there of Vonnegut's other work, it's very, it really feels like the rest of his work is leading up to him writing this. He has even said that this felt like a career end of sorts, like he had reached his pinnacle.
Yeah, because it's the one that we know. Like Sirens of Titan is around. They made a movie of Breakfast of Champions that I haven't seen. Like, these other ones have some attachment in culture a little bit, but Slaughterhouse-Five is Kurt Vonnegut's
Slaughterhouse-Five.
It's a badass title for an excellent novel. Like,
and I think it's probably because this is as close as he's going to get to peeling back the layers of his own authorial onion.
Yeah.
And revealing his own personal trauma. He actually has some of his own quotes throughout when he has some of the soldiers saying different things, like when the American prisoner of wars are first introduced to the British prisoner of wars, and they are fed dinner. It is the first time they've eaten that kind of food in quite a while, and so it makes them all violently ill.
He passes out for a couple hours.
Yes, Billy Pilgrim straight up, passes out for a couple hours, but Vonnegut says that he basically, the entire American regiment spent most of the night shitting their brains out. Literally, he's like, I have shit out everything except my brain. There it goes.
And so it goes.
And he says that is a quote from me. I was there.
Isn't Kilgore Trout amongst the POWs?
No, Kilgore Trout is in Ilium.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Kilgore Trout lives in the basement of someone's mother. And
yeah, because he appears in a lot of Vonnegut's novels as basically Vonnegut.
Yes, but this is literally Vonnegut.
Yeah.
There's another time where immediately after the firebombing of Dresden, there's somebody that's yelling, and it's Vonnegut. It's a very funny quote, but I don't remember it off the top of my head.
Yeah, that's something that, with a war novel called Slaughterhouse-Five, I feel like gets lost in the zeitgeist, is how fucking funny it can be.
Yeah. And so I read some criticism, like I said, and I think that is an intentional choice on Vonnegut's part, because he doesn't put the horrors of war as, like, the main focus. Like, he doesn't pull a Tim O'Brien where he's like, look at it, look at it, look at it. He's making you look at it by looking away, if that makes sense. He
makes you look at it, and then he makes you look at the effects, but he doesn't surprise you with it. It's always there. Because the way, at least in the film, the way that, like, different scenes were ordered.
Yeah.
And I know you mentioned it's ordered differently in the novel, and I remember it being different in the novel as well. But you find out the diamond. You see him and Edgar find the diamond, and then the next scene is him gifting it to Val for a birthday or anniversary, I don't remember. And she starts to tell her friends the story of the diamond. And she's like, "Oh, what was your friend's name?" "Edgar." And then she continues telling the story, and he's already walking inside, and she's like, "Oh, how did he die? Why did they shoot him again?" And he just doesn't answer. And it's like, we just met this character, and we know he's going to get shot.
Yeah.
And it's like, it just looms over the entire film, both scenes that take place before the act and scenes that take place after the act. You know this man has been through some shit, but we haven't even seen it yet.
Something that I find fascinating is he constantly refers to poor old Edgar Derby.
Mm-hmm.
You never actually see Edgar get shot in the novel. It's that thing where instead of describing the incident, he describes all the incidents around it and then is like, "Oh, and Edgar got shot for stealing a teapot," and then moves on.
They added some weight to it, because I think the filmmakers knew that was going to be like an emotional centerpiece.
Yeah.
So they have him tell a story early on about how his son... Oh, he's writing a letter back home to his wife, Edgar is.
Yeah.
And he's reading it aloud to Billy. And in it, he mentions, we're going to Dresden. Do you remember that figurine that Jimmy broke? That was from Dresden. And then later on, when they're cleaning the debris, he finds the figurine. He's like, this is in perfect shape. It's amazing. And he and Billy are looking at it. And somebody calls Edgar over, and he just nonchalantly puts it in his pocket as he walks away. And 2 Germans see it and grab him, and Billy also goes to where he's being called to. And then you see the German guards take it out of their pocket, and the camera follows them as they're looking at the figurine and talking in German, I assume, about how nice and clean it is and how they're gonna take it home. And in the background, Edgar just gets put up against the wall and shot 2 or 3 times.
Oh, you didn't see the end of that, did you?
And then you hear Billy yell, stop, 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 and run in.
The Germans just toss the figurine aside. They toss it into the ashes.
Oh, did I miss that? Oh, shit. Yeah, you were definitely in the room during parts of this.
Yeah, it's the act of theft, not necessarily what he's stealing.
Well, you could also, like, not to both sides, the Nazis, but...
I think our government's doing a fine job of that.
They could also be accused of theft in their own country if somebody comes looking.
Yeah.
You know.
So, from Social Issues in Literature, War and Kurt Vonnegut's Slaughterhouse-Five, there is...
the library just has the best material.
Yeah. There is an article, or an essay called Vonnegut's Denunciation of Tralfamadore, and it is from 1978. And this is a piece of Vonnegut's Slaughterhouse-Five, The Requirements of Chaos, was published in 1978. And there's a line... The key to Vonnegut's strategy is his striking introduction of the Tralfamadorians into what he calls an anti-war novel. The firebombing of Dresden actually receives less emphasis than Billy Pilgrim's space and time travel, especially his visits with the Tralfamadorians. Vonnegut has played down the immediate impact of the war in order to make a powerful little statement about the kinds of social attitudes responsible for war and its atrocities. So basically what they're saying there is that by emphasizing everything, this is the way things are done, we've already done this, we will continue to do this, the moments trapped in amber, all the Tralfamadorian views on life and death, it kind of puts into perspective everything for how Billy Pilgrim is a fatalist, but Vonnegut, the author, is not. And Vonnegut is saying, we absolutely can change this. You are just choosing not to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some of that is definitely lost in the film. Actually, most of Tralfamadore is lost in the movie. They mention it very briefly at the beginning, and you see Montana. Mm-hmm. And then for most of the film, it's what happened in World War II, bouncing back and forth with his adult life, with some splashes of childhood in there. And then it's only after you see the plane crash that he goes to Tralfamadore again. Montana Wildhack appears. He takes his family to a drive-in, and she's getting naked on the screen. And Val is screaming in his ear, like, we need to leave. And little Bobby's in the back, like, oh, boobies. And his sister's like, you can't see this yet. And he's just like I am when you have your shirt off.
It's your most masculine trait.
Yep. So, I love me some boobies.
So, Tralfamadore.
Yeah.
I have a 2-part question.
Okay.
My first question is, in your opinion, is Tralfamadore a real place? Are the events of what's happening to him with the aliens actually objectively occurring or not? And don't pull the fucking, it's happening inside your head, but that doesn't mean it's not real. I am asking, is he objectively being taken to another planet?
Not enough evidence. You never see a craft. No one else goes but him and Montana Wildhack.
Who is missing on Earth.
Who is missing on Earth. She does not appear when he appears on Earth to talk about Tralfamadore. Mm-hmm. There is not enough evidence to say definitively yes or no. It could be exactly as he tells it. It's the old unreliable narrator. It could just be he's had so many traumatizing incidents in his life, including most recently a plane crash that required brain surgery and also tangentially killed his wife. This very well could just be
PTSD.
Delusions. He's living alone with his dog. He knows Montana Wildhack because he fantasized about her one time 15 years ago.
It would also explain why she's so much younger than him.
Yeah.
And he's continued to age, but she's still 21.
We never find out what happens to the baby they have. And, like, yeah, no, it could be true, but it could also not be true. I know that's not a real answer.
Vonnegut does an excellent job of, especially because you're already playing with space and time, he does a great job of using the Kilgore Trout character to introduce and play around with the idea that Billy may have already seen all of these ideas and he's resynthesizing them. Like, when he goes on the radio program to talk about Tralfamador before he gets shot, his daughter is like, why didn't you say any of this before the brain surgery? And he's like, oh, well, I've been getting unstuck in time for years. Like, it happened way back in World War II. Oh, you mean when you were experiencing immense emotional and physical suffering and trauma? Mm-hmm. But he uses the Kilgore Trout character to introduce the idea of science fiction. And after Billy has undergone the electroshock therapy for his PTSD, he starts reading all of Kilgore Trout's novels, which are introduced to him by Elliot Rosewater, who happens to be in the same veterans ward.
Yep. And
so later, when he is in New York looking for a TV program to go on and eventually ends up on the radio program, he sees what he thinks are new Kilgore Trout novels, and then he picks them up and he pages through them, and he's like, oh, I read this one in the psych ward when I was institutionalized, and it's about these two people in a human zoo on a different planet. And then there's another one, and he's like, oh, and it's about this event that happened. And it's because Vonnegut is already doing so much to play with time and space, and you don't really have an idea of where you are at any point in the novel. Like, he tells you explicitly where you are, and that means you have no fucking idea where you are.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So, when he is playing around with that, he's really introducing that unreliability of like, okay, so is this actually someone who experienced these things and Kilgore Trout took it from him and wrote these novels? Or did he read these novels, suppress it, and then it reemerged as these other ideas that are helping him deal with his psychological damage?
Like, is this all just happening right before his death as his life flashes before his eyes? And then the brain surgery saves him and he just continues to have his life flash before his eyes because he's still in a state of dying?
Is anything that happens after the plane crash actually real?
Yeah, like but does that matter? Was that the second question?
Yes, the second part of my question is whether or not Tralfamador is real, does it matter?
No, because it makes the story more fun to experience. There's nothing fun about watching a man live through traumas and survive them. There is fun when he's in a traumatic experience and somebody yells his name and suddenly the voice is different and now he's at a birthday party 30 years later. That's fun.
So, for obvious reasons, this can't be the case because we wouldn't get the Vonnegut character. But I kind of think that Billy is already dead at the start of the novel when Roland Weary is kicking the shit out of him. I don't think he makes it... So, Roland Weary...
That's the guy who dies that Lozado blames. Yeah.
Yes. So, Lozado has nothing to do with Billy Pilgrim in the novel, except that Roland Weary dies on him in the train and makes him swear vengeance against Billy Pilgrim. He makes the whole train car aware that Billy Pilgrim killed him, even though Roland Weary is his own problem.
Yeah.
But to me, reading it as though this is a man who has already died under, like, the worst possible circumstances, being killed by your own countryman for the suffering that you're both undergoing is, I don't know, I think that the fact that, not that it's all a flash forward, but it's just kind of like, that explains why so much fucking traumatic shit keeps happening to him, because it's all he knows.
Yeah.
And it's his brain just being like, this is what would have happened in your life.
I like that read a little bit less. Just because I think it's integral to the character that he survived the firebombing of Dresden.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of the heart of the anti-war message in this, is that we see Billy Pilgrim experience Dresden. And you can listen to all the anti-German propaganda and all this stuff during the war. And yeah, if that helps you do your job and kill Nazis, then yay, propaganda. But when you're in a civilian city, just full of people and culture and life, and yeah, there's an old man that smacks Billy Pilgrim because children are playing around him at one point. At least that's how it goes in the film. But like you see all sides of humanity in this one place, and you realize that like both sides. Now, granted, I'm not both sizing Nazis here.
The people are not the government.
But what I am saying is not everyone in that war wanted to be in that war. Pilgrim himself was drafted.
Yeah.
And
especially that late in the game.
There is a guard character throughout the stay in Dresden who is maybe 16 years old.
That's why it's called the Children's Crusade.
He also did not want to be there. And when he comes out of the bomb shelter, he sprints from his post to where he knows where people are, because it's his own town. And that is fucking heartbreaking. Because, like, there's no real winners in a war. There's survivors.
The city of Dresden had no military value at all. It was entirely civilian. There were no major munitions factories. There was literally no reason to bomb it. And the reason you know there was no reason to bomb it is because both American and British people military people covered the fuck out of it. As in, covered it up.
Yeah.
It was, even when Vonnegut was working on publishing this novel, he sent, I think, a letter or a telegram to the Air Force asking a bunch of, like, military questions about it, and he got a response that said, this is still top secret classified. And his response, as someone who lived through it, was, classified from who?
Yeah. Buddy, I was there. I know it happened.
Like, the Slaughterhouse-Five novel is the first time a lot of Americans learned about the firebombing of Dresden.
Which is crazy, because 1969, that's 25 years later, almost.
Yeah.
25 years. That'd be like us finding out about 9/11 now.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That we just didn't know. And, like, he even runs into a character, I think it's Rosewater, when he's in the ward. No, it's not Rosewater. It's a different other Vonnegut character who's writing a historical novel, or not a historical novel, an historical...
Colonel Rumford.
That's who it is. Writing like a history about it, and refuses to believe some of the truths about Dresden still. Yeah. Even with a survivor next to him.
He is writing this history, and he's like, I can't find any of this information, and Billy is like, I was there. And he refuses to believe him, and then Billy ultimately convinces him and starts giving him information, and Rumford, the colonel, straight up denies that it was not tactically necessary. He claims that it was required and that it absolutely had to be done, and there had to be some reason that it happened. And Billy's just like, nah, man, it's civilians.
Yeah, it was like... And this is like the common argument that comes with the nuclear bombings as well, is... Did we need to bomb the city? And there's the land invasion would have killed more people and all this stuff. So, but A, only needed to do it the one time, didn't need to hit two cities, and B, didn't need to do a populated area. They could have just nuked an unpopulated island and been like, we've got more. And then there's also the stereotype of the Japanese people will not surrender, which a lot of Japanese military did not surrender and fought well after the war was over. That's pretty well documented. But also, I think on a survival level, they probably still would have surrendered after a publicized test. And they go deeper into that mental calculus in the movie Oppenheimer, which is very good. Even though they don't show the nuclear bombs, they don't need to, because they show the effect of them. Yeah. But that is a digression. But yeah, like you said, Dresden was not a military target. And funny that a guy who actually survived that would write a book about that as an anti-war message. Who could have seen that coming?
Huh?
Who knew? Getting bombed by his own people in a place where he thought he was safe, even as a POW.
Yep. Which
is just... And we give them how big a budget? And they're the biggest emitter of greenhouse gases, the U.S. military? on the planet? Surely there's no parallels here.
Surely.
So you mentioned earlier...
Yes.
The subtitle of the book, The Children's Crusade.
Yes.
So what's that about?
So that comes from Vonnegut, the writer character in the novel. He meets up with his old war buddy Bernard O'Hare to try to remember Dresden. And his wife is increasingly hostile to Vonnegut. And Vonnegut can't quite figure out what he did. And then finally she comes in and she yells at both of them. And she is like, "You're just babies. You were just babies when you got drafted." And he's like, "Yeah, that's right." And he's like, "But you're not going to make it sound like that. You're going to make it sound like you were men. You're going to make it sound like it was necessary. And you're going to make it glamorous. And you're going to make it so that all those babies that we have upstairs are going to go on and fight more wars." And he's like, "That is not my intention." He's like, "I will subtitle the book The Children's Crusade." And he does. Mm-hmm. And he also dedicates it to her.
Yeah. Which, like, I'm not sure how, I'm sure it's all in the novel, but the film really highlights that because it includes the Children's Crusade based on by at the beginning. Mm-hmm. So that is primed in the audience mind. And the actor they cast to play Billy Pilgrim is Michael Sachs, who was, doing quick math, he was 24 when he shot this movie.
So I think older than Vonnegut would have been.
Yeah, but he has, like, the biggest baby face. He's just like a dopey little boy all through the World War II scenes. And it has the effect of, like, his old age makeup isn't great because it's very 70s and it's pretty cheap.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that they cast a younger actor to make up older instead of the reverse for it because it highlights how young he is. And like I said, there's the little boy guard and then his own son who throughout the course of the movie you watch him grow up. You see him as a little boy. You see him do like he gets caught masturbating at a party, and he knocks gravestones over as a rebellious teen. And then when he's a young man, he's still Billy's little boy, and he's volunteered to go fight off in Vietnam and fight the commies. And we know Vietnam is not a glorious war.
In the novel, he becomes a famous Green Beret, and I think that the point of him being a famous killer or part of a unit that is famous for killing is to show that he's kind of everything that Billy is not. He's active, whether that's for good or bad, and he's also in it for the killing, whether that's good or bad. In Billy's eyes, there was nothing he could have done either way.
Yeah, but it goes back to like the themes of this, where the characters believe that there's no other way, there's no free will, but Vonnegut disagrees.
Yeah.
And it's cycles of trauma.
Yeah.
Like, he is so traumatized from his experience in World War II, which is the last good war, I think is generally what it's considered. We fought the fucking Nazis, and then, brought them back to work on our space program, and they're still here. But he's still traumatized from that, because war is not a good thing. Mm-hmm. And just watches his son go off to Vietnam, and granted, this all happened before before we knew the worst of Vietnam. It was like when did Vietnam end? It was the 70s, right?
I believe so.
It wasn't over yet.
Yeah.
75. But yeah, like, Vonnegut being right on the front of this is a bad idea. Well, no, he wasn't. There were protests and all that shit. What am I talking about? I wasn't alive in the 70s. But yeah, like, even without the benefit of hindsight, we knew that was a bad war to be getting into, and he still watched his son go off to it.
If we can quote from a much more flippant movie, never get involved in a land war in Asia.
There's actually a really poignant moment in the scene where he finds out he's going to Vietnam. I mentioned earlier the character from Mother Night, the propagandist.
Yes.
He has one scene in this movie, and oh my god, his costume. Let me find this costume for you real quick.
I believe I heard it described, because that is a significant portion of his appearance in the book. And I believe the character, per description, kills himself while he's awaiting trial for the famous Nuremberg trials.
So I just put something on the screen, and it is Howard Campbell's uniform as he's working as a Nazi propagandist. And this is after Billy's been canceled. Canceled? Billy's been captured. And it's a gray military-style uniform. And across the breast in an arc is a blue arc with the stars in it. And on his left shoulder are the alternating red and white stripes. and around his left arm is an alternating red and white armband with a swastika in it. Mm-hmm. Very evil Captain America, if you will.
Yes.
And he describes it as the blue of the skies of our homeland, and the white is the color of the skin of the people who deserve that homeland, and the red is the blood that will be shed for the home. You know, he does one of these.
Yeah.
And he's basically trying to convince them, and I can't remember the exact quote, but he's trying to convince the prisoners of war that the real threat is communism. If we don't band together, the USA and the Nazis, then these communists will get us all. And then when his son is going off to war, when Robert Pilgrim's going off to war, heading to Vietnam, he tells his dad, before we know it, communists will take over the world. We need to stop the communists.
Can we, though?
Like,
can we let the communists take over? This
comic villain in his awful... Like, the one thing Lazaro does good in this movie is shit-talk this dude's uniform. Like, this fucking goofball must have gotten in the heads of some people, because that's exactly what the U.S. did after the war. And Vonnegut saw that, and Vonnegut's pointing that shit out.
One of the things that is, like, the saddest about Kurt Vonnegut is that he lived to see us do this again with Iraq and Afghanistan.
Yeah, he didn't die till the mid-aughts, right?
I believe 2004, 2005, yeah.
Yeah.
He saw us do it again.
Just the cycles, and kids of Vietnam vets going off to fight in Iraq and Afghanistan. And what he didn't see was those guys' kids going off to fight in Iraq and Afghanistan. There are fathers and sons who have fought in the same war at the same age because it went on so long.
Yeah, we went to college with someone who started college when I believe he was 27 because he finished either 2 or 3 tours. And so his GI Bill was what paid for him to go to college for theater.
And again, kids.
Yeah.
Because I remember post 9/11 having a military recruiter at the high school occasionally.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that was just a thing. Like, it's like you didn't have any other options. The military will take you.
Did you have an ROTC program at
your
school? We
sure did. I almost joined it because I didn't want to do gym. And then my parents were like, knock it off, you fucking idiot. And they were right about that.
Yeah.
I was much happier in gym class.
I was going to say broken clocks are right twice a day.
Broken clocks and blind squirrels, baby.
Yeah. We had a big propaganda performance of the military band.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it was the Air Force band.
You were a bit more in the sticks than I was, though. You had a little bit less wealth floating around in your community than we did.
Yeah.
Like, we were a lot of farms, but we also had some wealthy suburbs in our district. So yeah, it was just occasionally a recruiter at lunch. Or in the lunchroom, I should say.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, he was spot on calling it a children's crusade, because that's all that American war is anymore.
Yep. Pull them in, farm them out to foreign wars, bring them back broken, don't pay their medical bills.
Yeah. When my grandfather was still alive, for those who don't know, he had cancer for about 10 years. He's also he was retired Air Force. And just hearing my dad complain about trying to get a hold of somebody at the VA. And this is a man who, he flew over Korea, and his brother is buried at Arlington. And I would say more about my great uncle's military accomplishments, but then that would dox the fuck out of me. So I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
But like, a well-respected member of the military still had a pain in the ass of the VA. I can't imagine, and this is in Philadelphia, I can't imagine what it would be like out in the middle of the country, away from cities, trying to get help for some of these vets.
Well, I mean, also, like, I grew up in a military family. My mom was an Army brat. She lived in 15 different places by the time she graduated high school.
Yep.
My mom was in the military. Both of my brothers were in the military. One was dishonorably discharged. And I mean, yeah, military is like, your life has been touched by the American military, whether you wanted it to be or not.
Yeah.
And Kurt Vonnegut really didn't want that to be the case.
We failed you, Kurt. We failed you good and hard.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to talk about themes? I think I hit the big 3 I wanted to touch on.
No, I think that's about it.
Yeah, I don't have much else. Like, it was hard to find information on this movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's directed by George Roy Hill, who also directed Butch Cassidy and The Sting.
Hey, we watched that the other day.
Yeah, we did.
Why can't there be a book on that one? Why'd you make me read the fucking detective?
No, it is based on a book, kind of. They got sued about it, but it's not, like, credited to the book. It's, like, loosely based on, like, a nonfiction about con men.
Ah, okay.
So it wouldn't be fun for you anyway. The only other thing I could find about the film was that Valerie Perrine, who played Montana, it was her first film.
Okay.
She didn't even bring a headshot to her audition because she didn't know what she was really doing.
Oh.
But she was a Vegas showgirl, and since there was going to be nudity in the film, she did bring her G-string and tiny bra, and she got the part.
Yep, that tracks.
And she's great in it. Like, it's not a big part.
Yeah.
And it is, like, she's half naked the whole time and whole naked half the time.
Yeah.
Which, not complaining.
The thing that I think is really funny about that is that Billy is naked on Tralfamadore because they want to see how humans look.
Are you guys gonna mate or not? Like, can we get a minute to get to know each other? Like, the only time he ever, like, really stands up for anyone is in that moment.
Tralfamadore feels like Billy's wish fulfillment in a lot of ways.
It does. Like, and
so I feel like that is him doing what he thinks the right thing to do is, which is the right thing.
Yes, he stands up for her. He's like, bring her clothing. She's what size are you? She's a size 10. Make it. She's only used to the nicest things, so get her the nicest clothes. But yeah, like it definitely feels like wish fulfillment. Does his wife have the runner of "I'll get thin for you, I swear"?
Yes. Yeah.
Like, every time he gifts her something, she's like, "Oh, honey, I'm gonna lose so much weight for you. I'll be so sexy, you won't even believe it." And she just never does. The next scene, she's like, "Honey, would you like a snack?" And she has a full chocolate cake.
Yeah. Every time that his wife is talked about, it's just talked about how, like, completely undesirable she is, but she loves him so much because she never thought she was gonna get married. So the fact that he proposed to her and with this fucking rock, she's just like, oh my god, I love you forever.
Yeah. and I honestly think she does.
Oh,
like,
she
she's so panicked by his injury that she kills herself trying to get to him.
Yeah.
Like, literally. And I'm on the fence as to whether or not he loves her. I think he enjoyed being loved.
He says basically because of the way that he sees time, he knew their marriage was going to be fine the whole way through. So he had no qualms about marrying her. He's like, when he was proposing to her, he didn't know why he was doing it. He didn't really want to be doing it. But then, like, he saw their whole marriage and he was just like, yeah, it's going to be fine.
Yeah. I guess he's like, it's gonna happen, I guess. It's not like that's the whole Tralfamadorian thing, is it's gonna happen. So yeah. it's gonna happen.
In modern critical interpretations, Kurt Vonnegut's Slaughterhouse-Five, there is an essay titled The New Reality of Slaughterhouse-Five by James Lundquist, and it describes the Tralfamadorian novel concept. Like their books. There's actually a really funny bit where it says that the only Earth novel they have is Valley of the Dolls, which, if you've ever read, is deeply hilarious that that's the only novel they have, because it's not a good novel. And so he's describing how the novels they consist of clumps of symbols with stars in between. Billy's told the clumps function something like telegrams, with each clump a message about a situation or scene. But they're not read sequentially as the chapters are in an Earthling novel. They're read simultaneously. There isn't any particular relationship between all the messages, except that the author has chosen them carefully, so that when seen all at once, they produce an image of life that is beautiful and surprising and deep. There's no beginning, no middle, no end, no suspense, no moral, no causes, no effects. What we love in our books are the depths of many marvelous moments seen all at one time. And I think that is Vonnegut describing what he's trying to do with Slaughterhouse-Five, except obviously he has a moral.
Mm-hmm.
But it really feels like that's him explaining to the audience, hey, this is what I'm doing. I want you to really think about what's happening in this novel, but I don't want you to think about it the way you would in chronology, like in a chronological order. I want you to ruminate on all of the different moments as they're happening.
Yeah. Which I think is a good way to look at life. Like, I don't agree with Tralfamadorians on everything, but their desire to just focus on the good parts of life isn't necessarily a bad thing to do.
Yeah. You just also have to look at the gross stuff sometimes,
yeah,
too.
It's just like, the nice stuff is nicer because the gross stuff happens. I guess. Our traumas make us who we are.
That's why you add a little bit of salt to chocolate chip cookies so that they taste sweeter.
I guess. Just don't let me see you put the salt in there, or I'll be able to taste it.
There's salt in all baked goods.
I'll salt your baked goods.
Oh my god.
So do you recommend the novel?
I do. It's, like I said, it was 5.5 hours. The audiobook, the one that I read, or the one that I listened to, was read by James Franco. He does not do any of his weird James Francoism. When he's reading the other languages that are in there, it's a little... I had to listen to those parts a couple times. But yeah, it's a short book. It's a good book. I enjoy Vonnegut. He has this fascinating way of writing these cartoon caricatures of people. Like, no one is ever described in a way that looks normal unless they're unnaturally beautiful, like Montana Wildhack. Like, everyone... Billy Pilgrim is described as having the chest and shoulders of a box of matches. Harold Weary is so bundled up with blankets and all of his military equipment that he, like, can't even breathe or see properly. He does such a good job of taking these caricatures but making you care about them.
Yeah.
Which is real life.
Yeah, because, I mean, when we meet people in real life, it's those first impressions that stick until we get to know them as people.
Yeah.
You know?
But yeah, I highly recommend it. What about you? Do you recommend the movie?
Is it a perfect movie? No. It was made in 1972, and you can tell. Like, the special effects aren't great. The makeup effects are dated. It looks like there's Vaseline smeared on the lens at times. You know, it's got that very 70s look. But the pacing and writing and editing are top-notch. Just the way that it uses the language of editing to do time jumps. Like, movements in one time will be moving left to right across the screen, and then the cut is left to right across the screen, but in the 40s. You know, like, it blends and moves really well. All those jump cuts hit like a truck, and they're timed so perfectly where you're like sitting with bated breath as a scene is developing, as something's about to happen, and then you're in a different time. And it's jarring, and you get a little bit of whiplash from it, but it's the intent, and it works so well. And the performances are good. Billy Pilgrim, I wish they didn't introduce the character. I mean, I guess they had to introduce him in his old age makeup, because he looked fucking weird the first time you see him. But, like, the acting's good. The writing's really good. I laughed out loud.
A lot.
A lot, yeah. Just great moments. And then I was on the edge of tears in scenes. It's a really well executed adaptation. And faithful. Vonnegut himself liked it. He is quoted as saying, "I love George Roy Hill and Universal Pictures, who made a flawless translation of my novel Slaughterhouse-Five to the silver screen. I drool and cackle every time I watch that film because it is so harmonious with what I felt when I wrote the book."
Okay.
And you know what? Like, yeah, the film won the jury prize at Cannes. It was the first American film to do so, I believe. But, like, I'm sure George Roy Hill heard that from Vonnegut, and that meant a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
Just to take somebody's work and just nail it. Has to feel so good. So yeah, recommended. Well, as we record this, it's June 4th. That means school's out for summer. Did I miss something? Oh, because you're looking...
I was trying not to do the school's out.
We'll get copyright struck. Don't do it. No, there goes our YouTube. Yes, we do actually. I think I'm not sure if it's still up, but episodes are on YouTube. School's out for summer, which means it's time to lock up shop on our season of books we read in school and didn't understand because we watched the movies. Whatever we called that season.
You said it correctly at the beginning of the episode.
And so I was looking ahead at the calendar. What should we do next? How do we get off of this? And, like, let's do something more lighthearted. Let's do something more fun. And then I looked at my calendar to see when our next episode drops. And it's during the first week of games for the FIFA World Cup.
Oh, okay.
So, oh shit, let's do something soccer. I love the sport. and the only thing I could find was Fever Pitch, and I don't want to talk about Arsenal winning a league right now. So, we went to the next best thing, Shakespeare.
Yay!
Your boy wrote a play called Twelfth Night, which is about a girl pretending to be a dude to get a guy. Or something. I don't know, because I've only really seen the filmed adaptation of it, which just so happens to be about soccer. That's right. The next time out, we're talking about the Amanda Bynes film, She's the Man.
I'm so excited.
Me too. I haven't seen this movie in a while, and I adore it. So I can't wait to dive deep into this mess of a soccer movie. You get to read Shakespeare, and then we have to figure out how the fuck this all came together.
Yay!
But until then, you can check out our Ko-Fi link in the description of this podcast if you want to throw a couple bucks our way. Keep the podcast on the air. Maybe you get some new microphones that don't get all of my inhales and bass from upstairs. You know, it's way less sexy watching you do it than when I hear you do it on the other end of a phone in the middle of the night.
Who are you talking to?
Also in the description, you can find our link tree. That'll get you to our social media accounts, our email address if you want to send us suggestions, corrections, anything like that. You can also, there's something else. Oh, you can check out our other podcast, which I always forget to plug, The Treatment, podcast about stories, where we join our friend Mark Lucas and make 'em ups. We take existing stories or ideas or concepts and adapt them into what we would pitch as a feature-length film. Our most recent episode is our pitch on werewolves, which is a wholly original werewolf story set in one of our favorite settings, a coal mining town.
Why is that our go-to?
Good old Appalachian, Pennsylvania. Is it because Mark is still living there? Possibly. Is it because we grew up out there? Probably. But that's all in the description. And this is the end of
we never talked about why it's called Ilium.
And the music is fading in. Tell me why it's called Ilium.
It's called Ilium because that's the same name as another really famous story. You may know it better as the city of Troy.
Oh, the Iliad?